guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lindsay. For those who don't know me, I own the Lindsay Owens Aesthetics Clinic. I'm going to be doing a video today based on my favourite dermal fillers, the reasons I use them, and the two different structures behind the fillers, if that's the way you want to call it. So if that's for you, keep watching and let's get straight into it. Okay, before we get straight into it, I just want to touch on that there are two main groups. I keep doing this in my videos. Why am I doing this? There's two main types of dermal fillers. You've got biphasic fillers and you've got monophasic. And pretty much a lot of people don't know the difference. So I'm just going to tell you what the difference is. Okay, so monophasic is where there are cross-links formed within the hyaluronic acid chain. This makes it more of like a firmer substance. They're all held together basically, because where the chain is obviously like this, it's all part of one. I'm trying to make this in the simplest way that obviously makes sense. So they're all sort of formed together because the chains hold them together. Biphasic is where you've got loose hyaluronic acid particles within the gel substance. So you've got your, dermal filler as one, and then rather than having chains like the monophasic does, where it's all sort of cross-linked together to hold it as one, biphasic is where it's got little hyaluronic acid particles that are loose within the product, so it doesn't hold it as one as such. So that's the difference. I'll go into detail as to why I prefer one over the other. Yeah, and I'll let you decide what you prefer. So for me, in my clinic, I only really ever use two brands of filler. I use Revelax and I use Volifil. I'll go into the reasons why I use these. So they are both monophasic fillers. I personally prefer monophasic. The reason being is there's less risk of migration. It doesn't really move like from where you've placed it. Stuff like that really. With biphasic, where you've got the loose particles of the HA, it's not as structured as a monophasic filler, so there is potential of it moving quite a lot. You get quite a lot of migration with it and stuff like that. Although this isn't set in structure, this can happen with sort of any brand. This is just like a set thing of biphasic, monophasic, and what they really do. So I prefer to use a monophasic filler purely just for the reason that it holds together better. There's less risk of migration, and for me it just gives an overall better look and placement, if anything. So that's why I prefer to use monophasic. Okay, so I'm not going to go into like massive details as to why I prefer what I prefer. However, I am just going to touch on base what products I use to like for what client and why. So I'll start off with Revelax. So Revelax I was actually trained with back in 2018. So I've used it for 5 years now. I love the filler. It's never really let me down. I've tried different bits and bobs and always ended up going back to it. For me, Revelax is quite firm. So if you're a new injector, I probably would recommend maybe not using it, or using a Revelax fine if you're going in lips. Just because if you're using a fine filler, there's less risk of, causing lumps, causing problems, stuff like that. Revelax Deep, I think, is an amazing product if you're an experienced injector and you know where your placement is and how much you're injecting. Because if you're injecting Revelax Deep and you misplace it, or you put your needle in the wrong depth of the lip and you inject it, it's quite hard to massage out. Once it's in there, you're probably looking at trying to dissolve it. It's quite firm, so it is staying where it is. So that can be a positive or a negative. For me, it's a positive because it means that when I'm creating quite firm, sharp Russian lips, or like a sharp overall look where someone wants the defined edges, the dolly look, Revelax is probably my go-to filler because it is so precise and sharp, and it will stay where you put it. However, again, like I said, if you're a new injector and you're not really that confident, it probably could go the other way for you. So maybe use a Revelax fine if you did want to use that brand. I also use Volifil. So Volifil is a new dermal filler on the market. It's, again, monophasic. The reason that I like it, and I like to have two brands in the clinic, because I think it's really important that a client can choose what they prefer. Not everyone's going to get the same look. It's all going to look different on every single person. Your anatomy is completely different. Mine's different to, my kids and my other halves. You know, you're not going to look the same. However, if someone if a client came in, you know, over probably, you know, over 50, never had fillers before, wanted more of like a natural soft look, I know straight away that I would pick Volifil. The reason being is because it's super soft. It's super soft. So there's really, for me anyway, when I'm injecting it, zero chance of lumps at all. I've never ever felt a lump with Volifil. It's smooth, it stays where you put it. The only reason why I wouldn't use it for maybe like a sharp Russian look is because where it is on the softer side, for me personally, I can't get a very crisp defined border. So I will always, if I'm treating a client who's, you know, younger, who wants a really big sharp look, I will drift towards Revelax. However, you know, a lot of my clients are now going on to Volifil, where it is a natural look. It's softer, it feels nicer in the lips. Definitely my over 50s, maybe over 40s will always opt for Volifil, because you can't feel it in the lips really. Once it's settled, it doesn't feel like it's hard. So I've had Revelax in my lips for years and years and years, and you can tell that you've got filler in your lips. It's quite firm and hard. So there's pros and cons to both. It depends what your client wants. You know, are they the type of person who's going to accept the fact that they can feel filler in their lips? I think it's easier for a younger person to get their head around. You know, 18, 19-year-olds nowadays, you'll say, you know, it's not going to feel like your actual lips. You are going to feel filler in there. And most of the time they're like, yeah, I don't care. And they're really easy and simple. However, when you do get an older client, you know, getting into their 50s, who's never had dermal filler before, never really had a treatment, and they're going into the world of fillers, it's quite hard to get them to convert to something like Revelax, because it's completely alien to them. That, you know, it feels completely different, nothing like they've ever had. So that's why I would always opt for Volifil for maybe someone a little bit older, or not even older, someone who's younger, who, you know, wants to try out filler for the first time. They don't know what shape they want. They just want like a natural plump. I pick Volifil. If someone says to me, you know, I want LA lips, but I don't want them really sharp and defined. I just want, you know, LA lips on the natural side, just to enhance what I've already got, I would go for Volifil. Yeah, that's the main reasons why I pick them. There's hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of different brands on the market. So definitely have a play around with certain things, you know, pick what you like. See how they heal, see what the swelling's like, because again, they're all different. And I would recommend having at least 2 different brands in your clinic that your clients can choose from, because if you only have one and it doesn't really work for them, or they don't like the texture of it, you can't really offer them anything else and you're pretty much stuck. So definitely worth getting a couple of brands. But yeah, they're my top 2 brands. That's why I love them. And that's pretty much it. I'll place the little pictures up here. So you've got Revelax Deep is here, that I obviously use for my Russian lips. Someone who's been coming to me for years and years and years, who's had Revelax with me in the past, who, you know, just wants to stick with what they've got. They're happy, that's fine. So we will stick to Revelax Deep. I will use a Revelax Fine on my clients who come in with a cleft lip. Only after they've had sessions, maybe 2 or 3 times with me, that I then would maybe go on to a deep. However, again, Revelax Fine, I need it to create the sharp shape to be able to lift the cupid's bow and maneuver the tissue. But again, I don't want it to be really thick and lumpy if it's not massaging properly and it's maybe grabbing onto the scar tissue. So Revelax Fine, perfect for that. I use Volifil Deep for any client that wants like a natural look, wants LA lips, who's never had filler before, you know, who just wants to enhance their natural shape. Volifil Deep, love it, super soft, chef's kiss. I use Volifil Classic for an older client who's never had filler before, who wants something super soft. And if they're coming into the clinic and I can see straight away they're really nervous, I straight away go for this, just to ease them in a little bit. It gets them used to it. There's no like lumps, no migration. It would just look like a natural plump for them. So this is a very good option. Also, Volifil Classic is amazing for the barcode lines, perioral lines, smoker's lines, whatever you want to call them around here. If someone doesn't want skin boosters or Botox and they just want softening, again, Volifil Classic, a very, very good choice. So they are my top 2 brands that I use in my clinic. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on what you think about the brands, if you've tried them, if you haven't. If there's any other subjects that you want me to, you know, touch on in the next few videos, drop them below because I love your recommendations. Please follow my Facebook and Instagram pages at Lindsay Owens Aesthetics, also my TikTok as well at Lindsay Owens Aesthetics. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks.